the Sportscast, April 24th, 2020. If you haven't yet, please subscribe on all our channels, Periscope, iTunes, and YouTube. And if you're in iTunes, please leave a rating and review. It will help us out tremendously. And visit us on thesportscast.net, thesportscast.net for the latest and greatest in sports news. Today's sponsor is InstaBible, Crave Versus in Pictures. You can get the InstaBible app in the iOS App Store. Quite a night last night. Some are calling it the best NFL draft of all time. Of course, it's relative. Biggest news of the night for me was the Miami Dolphins selecting Tua Tagovailoa. Tonight is round 2 of the NFL draft, and there is a lot of talent still left on the board. And today we have two criminal mindsets, Tyler Turner and Caillou Borden. Welcome to the Sportscast. Hey, Caillou. Caillou?
Yeah.
So, what a night last night. I want to go to Tyler first because we've heard Caillou last night. What were your overall thoughts last night of round 1 of the NFL draft?
Hey, by the way, can you hear?
I can hear your kids a little bit, but it's fine. I mean,
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So ask me that question again.
what were your overall thoughts of last night's first round of the NFL draft?
I mean, personally, for me, there's probably a few reasons why, but it was my favorite draft of all time. But a couple things. We've had nothing to watch for a month and a half, so that could have been one reason. And number 2, my team, the Oregon Ducks, their quarterback went in the top 10. Justin Herbert went 6 to the Chargers. So for those couple of reasons, I had a lot more skin in the game than I had in recent years. And the fact that there'd been nothing else, and it was really cool kind of how the virtual, Roger Goodell was doing it in his basements, and he had the fan bases all on Zoom behind him, and you'd have, 20 different cameras. I don't know how they did that exactly, but it was pretty cool. I actually thought it was pretty cool. I enjoyed last night's. It was a very entertaining, one of my favorite drafts personally. And I also like a little more simple. I like it, it was just a little more cut and dry. It gets a little loud and boisterous and people booing, and it was just very simple, He's there, does the pick, and then they go through the guy and they go through the highlights, and sometimes they talk to the player, and then they'd go on to the next prediction, and then they'd go on to the next prediction, and I really enjoyed last night's draft.
I do agree with Tyler. I think it was very simplified. I think they just, made it cut dry, right to the point. And which is why there was a reason why there was not much trades going on. The first trade happened in the teens when the Niners traded up. I want to go with the Green Bay Packers. The surprise for some people was getting Jordan Love. I know Caillou was a big fan of that. Tyler wasn't. Why not so much?
Are you asking me why not so much?
Yeah, why you weren't a fan of the Packers picking Jordan Love?
Well, because in Aaron Rodgers' massive contract, he has probably 3 to 4 years left in his career. As long as he could stay healthy. He's not been as healthy as like Brett Favre was during his time at Green Bay. He's had more injuries. He had the knee injury. He had the clavicle injury. So he's definitely had some injuries that have been ended his season or knocked him out for an extended period of time. But that being said, he has 3-4 more years left. You just made the NFC Championship with your new coach, Matt LaFleur. The biggest problem Rodgers and the Packers had last year, in my opinion, was there wasn't great weapons. I thought Davante Adams is one of the better receivers in the NFL, but outside of him, the options were definitely more utility type receivers, guys that would normally be 4th or 5th options. And Davante Adams, even himself, probably he's a number 1, but he could be used as a number 2. I thought they needed to get 1 or 2 really good elite options at that position. And then maybe in the 3rd round, you draft a guy like Jake Fromm or something to back up a guy that could be a good fill-in for Rodgers. And then maybe in a year or two, then you take a chance at a guy in the first round when Rodgers is a little older after you've maybe exhausted the route of trying to get him another Super Bowl. Getting Jordan Love right now, it just seems like you're not all in for right now being a Super Bowl contender because you need to add pieces to your team. Also, on just the player of Jordan Love, he's an intriguing prospect. He probably was best suited going to a team like Green Bay, going to a team like the Colts or the Saints, a place where he could sit for 2 to 3 years and develop because he's not ready. Can you hear me? Because my kids are being really loud back. Guys, hey, hold on. Guys.
We're coping with it.
Guys, keep your voice down. I'm on a call.
Promise them a piece of chocolate if they stay quiet.
Anyways, back to what was I saying? I don't even know where I was at.
Oh, about Jordan Love. I forgot.
Okay. Yeah, needing development, needing to sit because he's not ready right now. I remember there was some talk about, McShay and Kuiper do the bet that Love was going to go before Herbert, and I even heard some other NFL insiders the day of or the day before saying, that never really was as much of a thing as people said because for once Herbert was just a college quarterback. I mean, he won more games. He made far less mistakes. I mean, Herbert threw 23 interceptions in 4 years as a starter. 17 interceptions in 1 year. And I went back and looked at some of those interceptions, and they were just bad throws. I don't care. I know his team wasn't as good. His coach wasn't as good. The people around him weren't as good. But he also was playing against non-Power 5 teams. He was playing against New Mexico State, San Diego State, Fresno State, and teams that had comparable talent to Utah State. And some of these throws he were doing, which I went back, I watched them, they were just not good plays. It was just throwing in positions and places that he had no business throwing the ball. I think he has talent. There is plays on his film that are very good. His ability to get outside the pocket. And he has a very good arm talent. But he's a guy that's not ready now. And there is a chance that maybe he is a guy that just does not make good decisions. That's definitely a possibility.
We'll go to Caillou.
And so I don't know.
Yeah.
Just that and where the Packers are right now, they needed, I think, to focus on getting weapons and better players around Aaron Rodgers instead of going out and getting a future quarterback.
Let's go to Caillou. What's your counter argument? You've had almost less than 24 hours to digest this. What are your thoughts about Green Bay getting Jordan Love?
I absolutely love it for Green Bay, and I'll tell you a couple reasons why. Green Bay is planning for still now. They can still address the receiver position. They have drafted Devontae Adams in the second round in 2014, pick number 53. They drafted Randall Cobb in the second round, pick number 64. Jordy Nelson, if you remember, the great Packer, was picked in 2008. He was picked in the second round, pick number 36. Donald Driver in the 7th round in 1999, 7th round, 213th pick. So Green Bay can still get tons of receivers. This draft class is loaded full of receivers. There's still T. Higgins out there. There's still the kid from Colorado. Denzel Mims is still out there. There's still Michael Pittman from USC. So there's still receivers out there for Green Bay. They still got to get an offensive tackle or right tackle with Balaga leaving. They still got to address the inside linebacker position. But there's still plenty of time for them to do that in the second round. Green Bay's been known to hit a lot of home runs in the second round. Remember, Devontae Adams wasn't a first-round receiver, and Jordan Love not getting a chance to start right away, he's under no pressure. Him getting to develop behind a Hall of Fame quarterback like Aaron Rodgers will be a great immense for him. I mean, he needs to really learn, and him getting that chance to play next to a Hall of Fame quarterback and get to learn from him in the film room, get to learn what he does with the media, how he interacts with teammates, how he gets along with coaches. I think that's going to do wonders for him because he's not going to be asked to start right away. Burrow, Tua, they're going to have to start basically right away. And learning from a Hall of Fame great quarterback is going to be great for Jordan Love's development. So I think it's a great pick.
Hey, Ty, when Caillou's talking, can you mute the Skype a little bit? There should be a mute button. I think it's a microphone. Okay, you're there. I think you're muted. All right. Let's go. What Caillou just mentioned a little bit, still on the board tonight, is the second round, day 2. What is available right now is Yetur Gross-Matos, Xavier McKinney, AJ Epineza, DeAndre Swift, T. Higgins, Antoine Winfield, Zach Bond, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Johnson, Ezra Cleveland, Josh Jones, Ross Blacklock, J.K. Dobbins, Denzel Mims, Michael Pittman, and Trevon Diggs. Caillou, from these people, what are your predictions for tonight? What moves, what teams you're going to see making some big moves for tonight's second round?
I think Miami will continue to get a running back. I think they'll probably address their safety position when they trade Minka Fitzpatrick for a first-round pick. So I'll be keeping my eye on Miami to see how they did a good job drafting Tua. I didn't really have any surprise, like I said yesterday. A lot of people said they were going to draft Herbert. I thought it was just a lot of smoke screen created by them, and it turns out that they were Tua all along. I thought it was so that to make sure to keep the teams in front of them after Burrow and after Chase Young from taking Tua. I felt that was what they were doing. I felt Austin Jackson needs a lot of development, but that was a real pick for them. For the Miami Dolphins, they got a corner, so I'll be watching them tonight. Also, I'll be watching the 2 New York teams, both taking the tackle to help Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold, protecting them both in New York. So I'll be watching both New York teams and the Miami Dolphins.
Ty Turner, what is your predictions for tonight? What's going to happen?
Well, I put up my mock draft. What you'd really be watching out for is running backs and receivers. There's a lot of good ones available. That's probably going to be the highlight of the second round, especially. Third round, it's just when will the rest of the quarterbacks go? When will Jacob Eason go? When will Jalen Hurts go? And when will Jake Fromm is? What round do they go in? I think probably more the third is what I'm thinking. I think there was definitely a divide between obviously you had the four top quarterbacks, and I definitely think there was more of a divide than even some of the media wanted to portray. I mean, Jalen Hurts, Eason, and Fromm were well below the other 4, and I think you're going to see that because I got a feeling if any of them do go in the second round, it'll be like late in the second round. That's my opinion.
Hey, why are you touching mine?
The Patriots and the Broncos have a lot of picks tonight in the second and third round. The Patriots obviously had a first round pick at the 23rd spot. Caillou, what do you think they'll be doing in the second round and in the third round?
I think they're gonna stay with Stidham respectively, and I think they should more focus on overall team speed, especially when in the new NFL when you go against teams like Houston. The Texans, when they had DeAndre Hopkins, and you go against teams like Patrick Mahomes, which we saw teams in the AFC West specifically, either get corners or get deep threats with Judy. And so I definitely think they should focus on getting overall team speed for their defense.
Ty Turner, Broncos also have a lot of picks tonight, 1 in the second round and 3 in the third round. What do you think they'll do tonight?
Broncos. Why are we taking on the Broncos? Okay, the Broncos, they took a corner, so they're going to probably take they took Judy, my bad. They're going to take a corner. If I had to predict, they're taking in the middle. Who do I have them?
You have Trevon Diggs, cornerback at the 46th pick.
I mean, if Trevon Diggs is there in the middle of the second, that's pretty good value. Maybe a guy like Jalen Johnson's a guy to watch out for. You also keep an eye if Christian Fulton is there. Possibly. It was so weird because Noah Igabogane and Jeff Gladney and biggest one was Damon Arnett. I didn't have any of those guys going in the first round. I had Jalen Johnson going in the first round. I had Trevon Diggs going in the first round. So the defensive backs yesterday that were selected, I kind of was a little bit surprised would be the word I'd use. I really like Gladney, so I'm not as much surprised about that. But I was a little surprised at Gabagane and especially Arnett, 19. If anything, maybe like 32nd pick. I just felt like that. That's a guy that I thought was a third-round pick. I did my couple second-round mocks, and I did not have him in the second ever. I thought maybe early third is where he would go. So I was kind of surprised about that. So there's some decent corners, that could have gone in the first round. Some people had Fulton going in the first round. Some people had definitely a guy like Trayvon Diggs going in the first round. I'm missing another one. But I just think there's some guys still available at the cornerback position that are pretty much close to first-round value.
What did you think Oakland got Arnett?
I don't know. You'd have to talk to John Gruden and Mike Mayock.
I know
he's
why.
a good player. He's a Why? You know why?
I think
you know.
No,
I
think
He spoke to them.
No, I know why. Because when you're in the division with Kansas City, City and their Legion of Zoom and Travis Kelce and what Kansas City did adding Clyde Hilaire, I just think it's a situation where being in that division, it's similar to what the Bears did when they added Khalil Mack. When you're in the division, you got to get after the pressure. When you know Rodgers is in your division, you got to get after the quarterback. So what Las Vegas Raiders basically did is say, we need to drive corners. We're going to have to shut down some of Patrick Mahomes' weapons.
Well, that doesn't make that okay. That's fair, but why would you draft Damon Arnett, a third-round corner, over Christian Fulton? Why would you draft Damon Arnett over Trayvon Diggs?
Yeah,
I know why they drafted the corner. Yeah, that's
I know why they drafted the corner. They drafted the wrong corner. Yeah. I don't. Or Xavier McKinney. I don't question. They needed a cornerback. I just did not understand why they drafted Damon Arnett, because the guy's he's fine. I don't want to talk. People are doing that about Herbert and stuff. So, but I just don't think he's a first round pick. I just didn't get. I didn't get it. Yeah. And the same thing with AJ Terrell. I didn't see him as a trumpet either.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, like if I was gonna do in order, I really like Jeff Gladney. He's really fast, and the thing is, really fast guys can really cover. So C.J. Henderson and Jeff Gladney are smaller guys, but they're really quick. So I had Okudu first, I had Henderson second, and I had Gladney third. So those three guys going in the first round, just it is what it is. Then after that, it did get kind of murky. Do you want a really athletic guy? Well, Noah Gabagane is a really athletic guy, but I also think Gabagane is not a very good ball skills. You want guys with better ball skills? You got AJ Terrell, but Terrell's not as quick. He's a little stiffer. So it was kind of a little bit like people needed corners, but unfortunately, other than I think three, I think most of them are kind of flawed. And that's what caused AJ Terrell to be a little bit like 16 for AJ Terrell. I don't know about that. And Damon Arnett, it's like, what? Number 19? That guy's a third-round guy. I mean, Bryce Hall could, in my opinion, is better than Arnett. I know he's coming off of an injury, but I think the kid from Virginia is better than Arnett. So, I don't know. That was probably the most head-scratching pick. I'm trying to think of another. Oh, Jordan Brooks. Jordan Brooks to Seattle at linebacker. Good player. Really athletic. But you have Zach Bond still on there. They had Patrick Queen still on the board. You have even Malik Harris from Ohio State. The guy from Appalachian State, he has three letters, Gother or whatever. It was just, I was a little surprised he went that high too. Here's another one that I was like, 27, I don't know. Good.
Caillou.
Maybe could have gotten him a little later.
Caillou, why were you surprised that the Falcons got AJ Terrell?
Because I just felt like there were corners better than him. Trayvon Diggs is an example of a corner better. I just didn't really. I watched the film and I seen most mock drafts, and obviously being a huge college football fan, I didn't really see him as a first round pick. I thought there were corners better than him, and I also felt like there were players that they could have had I think they could have went pass rusher for Atlanta. Obviously, they really needed a corner, but first of all, they selected the wrong corner, and I also felt like Atlanta could have went with a pass rusher at 17.
Tyler,
At 16.
We had like all of us in the big mock draft show on Tuesday. No one had Andrew Thomas going to the Giants. Were you surprised about that pick?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Thomas is a very safe pick. He's a good run blocker. He can play left tackle. He's, good measurables. He graded well. He's a consistent player. I don't think his ceiling is as high as I don't think it's as high as
We're losing you, Tyler.
Can you hear me now or not?
No, now it's better. You went out in the limb a little bit.
What could you hear me or not?
No, I couldn't about 30 seconds ago.
Okay, so what did you hear? I don't know where I was at.
I forgot. Start over.
Anyway,
real quick.
Anyways, Andrew Thomas, high floor, safe pick, consistent player. I don't think he has as high a ceiling as Wirfs, Becton, and Wills. But sometimes maybe you go with a guy that you think, he's going to be a good player. He's going to be solid. And I think that was maybe what went into that pick.
Let's go into Justin Herbert. We'll start with Caillou. What are your thoughts about the Chargers getting Herbert? Was it a huge pick for the Chargers?
I thought it was really good because going to that team with Mike Williams there, with Anthony Lynn, a team that's made the playoffs, and Tyrod Taylor, I think it'll be really good for him because he's going to be a bridge guy. He's going to be expected to come in 1 or 2 years after he develops. They have weapons there. They have a really good defense with Joey Bosa and Derwin James and Melvin Ingram. So that's going to be really good. He's not going to be asked to score a lot of points when he does start. They adjusted the tackle position, the right tackle position with Brian Bulaga and Trey Turner. That was hopefully leads to lure Tom Brady, but obviously that wasn't the case. So I feel like that's really good for him because he's going to a situation where he's going to be expected to start in 1 to 2 years and grow after Tyrod Taylor.
And Ty Turner, what are your voice thoughts of Herbert joining the Chargers?
Well, I'm exhilarated. That's where I wanted Justin Herbert to go. If you could have picked me one team that was really realistic going to draft him, that was where I wanted him to go. And I was pretty confident. So you're hearing all this buzz for Miami, and I bought into it. And I thought, you know what? I think Miami's going to draft Herbert. But then when I was hearing that maybe it wasn't Herbert, maybe it was Tua, and there was just enough out there to hear that. I then heard that the Chargers from a couple places, and you don't know what is rumors and what is true, but I saw a couple places, heard a couple places that the Chargers actually really did want Herbert. And the reason why, he's a safe guy. He's a guy that you know what you get. He's a 4-year starter. He's a 4-year starter. He's a guy that they also wanted someone that they'd mentioned a couple different times, and he actually mentioned it. He did a question and answer with the media to Tom Telesco, the general manager of the Chargers, and he said what he really liked about Herbert was, for one, he's durable. He actually mentioned it again. So durability, when you started hearing that narrative around San Diego a lot, I think that really was true. I think not just a smokescreen. I think they wanted a guy that was durable. They wanted a guy that was safe. They wanted a guy that would. They also said stuff like he plays within himself. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And that was another thing I heard. There was a couple people like, oh, what if they take Love? But when he said that, I'm like, that's why they weren't high on Love. That's why when you heard a couple rumblings out there that the one team that really was not interested in Love was the Chargers because they thought he was too reckless with the ball. Well, I heard Telesco say out his very mouth one of the reasons they really liked Herbert was that he was good with the ball. He does not turn over the ball a lot. And also it was a sort of comfort factor with Herbert is a West Coast kid. He was born and raised in Eugene. He hasn't spent a lot of time away from there. But when he has, the only other place he's really spent any significant time was in California. His agents in California. He played games in the West Coast in college, and he played against USC, played against Cal, played against Stanford, played against UCLA. He trained for the Combine in Los Angeles. So the place that he was probably going to be, and I knew he was going to be most comfortable, was Los Angeles. He was not going to go to the Rams. They don't need a quarterback. They have Jared Goff. So I kind of, from the day the NFL season ended and the Chargers had the 6th pick, I'm like, if the Chargers don't land Tom Brady, if they don't bring in some big-time free agent quarterback, I think that is where the best place for Herbert to go with. I think I talked about this with you. I don't know if I talked about it in the chat or on here.
I think we did.
I kind of always had always was like, that is just, it's near his home. It's where he's comfortable. It turns out, as we found out yesterday, that his childhood team was the Chargers. So it was his childhood team, is where he's comfortable, and also just the system team that it has a really good defense, like Caillou said. They have a very, very good defense. You got Joey Bosa, Derwin James. You got Kenneth Murray now, who I think is a terrific linebacker. You just have so many things that I like about that team. A good offense. You have good receivers, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Hunter Henry. They have there's another guy that they have. I can't think of him.
Who is it, Caillou?
It's just...
Never mind.
Not coming to me right now.
Back.
If you remember, Caillou, let me know.
Austin Eckler.
Eckler.
Yeah. Austin Eckler. So they have good weapons, and then they have Tyrod Taylor. They have a veteran that he doesn't have to come in and play right away. So it was where I wanted him to go. I had these worries because Herbert is still a young kid, still only 22 years old. He was a kid that went to school right next to his home, like literally in his backyard.
Never left Oregon.
He struggled with inconsistencies. Young. I worried about him going to Miami. I worried about him really going to Jacksonville, like a place across the country, away from home, a fan base that might not be so kind. I see your Miami Dolphins.
But don't coddle him. He has to grow up.
Twitter. They're not. No, I mean, yes, but he needs to grow up, but he doesn't need to go across the country to a franchise that maybe is looking at him to start day one and make a bunch of plays. Especially for your Dolphins, they don't have an offensive line, so he's going to be running around, running for his life, trying to make plays. I would rather. I like the Chargers. I like the situation for him.
We gotta let Caillou go, but we'll have Tyler for a little bit more. Caillou, your preview thoughts for tonight. What do you want to see?
I want to see the Miami Dolphins continue to improve their pick. I think they have 12 picks remaining, so I want to see them continue to improve. I want to see the New York Giants just continue to address their holes on defense, and the Jets to continue to get more skill position receivers for Darnold. They need to address that. And for the Green Bay Packers to load up on receivers.
Caillou, and what's the best way to reach you?
Hey, hold on. Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Caillou, who do you want? Who do you want at receiver at number 62 pick?
I mean, the Packers can take Matthew Pittman, the guy from USC. They can take Denzel Mims.
He won't be there.
The Packers have a lot of options.
He won't be there. Yeah, but the only thing is, they have the third to last pick in the second round. I don't think Pittman and Mims will be there. I think you're looking at more of Devin DuVernay from Texas, KJ Hamler from Penn State, maybe Chase Claypool. He might not even be there. Maybe Lynn Bowden from Kentucky. So, like, of those guys, who would you want? Because Pittman and Mims, those guys aren't going to be there.
Yeah, I would probably. I mean, any one of those guys are things, but the only thing about those guys, they got to be ready to play. Like you said, they're coming off an NFC Championship game, and if those guys are just ready to play, and they're going to learn the system, because, like you said, Aaron Rodgers is 36, so they got to be able to learn the system quick because we need them to be ready to play.
Caillou, I think you got to go, right, Caillou?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll stick with Tyler, and we'll speak a little bit more, a little bit more the situation in Miami. Caillou, I'll see you later.
Thank you.
Let's see if this call goes on, because if he hangs up, Tyler might be gone. No, Tyler's still here. Okay, Tyler,
Here.
second round. I just saw your mock draft, like you were mentioning. The Bengals get the first pick. Do you think Josh Jones will go?
I think that's where Josh Jones goes. You're asking me do I think Josh Jones goes to the Bengals?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And then you were mentioning Michael Pittman to the Colts, and then the Lions get DeAndre Swift. So those are your top three for tonight. Any trades you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be trades that happen. Can I predict them?
They're so unpredictable, aren't they?
I would have to hold on a second. Let me pull it up while I'm out here.
You did mention about like the Colts last night that you thought they might go and trade up.
No, yeah, for Love, but the problem is
there's
Love
no
is
point
gone.
now. Yeah, there's no point now to trade up.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're not going to trade up. They're going to trade up to 33rd pick.
To get Michael Pittman.
Yeah, who will be there? Hold on. Let me look at, because I got to look at the order.
I'll read out your order. What Ty has for the Bengals at 33rd is Josh Jones. Then he has the Colts at Michael Pittman. They are going to get Michael Pittman. My bad.
Well, Pittman, yeah, that's what I have. But no, I had them trading up to get Love.
Yeah.
I thought the Colts would trade up for Love. Who could I see trading? I'm trying to see what would make sense. I'd have to look at the third and fourth round too. Trading around. Well, the Dolphins have a lot of. They have some ammunition. Maybe the Dolphins.
And they're at 56.
I could see maybe the Dolphins trading their third round. Oh, and they got an extra pick too, didn't they?
They did last night with the Chargers.
What did they get?
Let me check. Oh my gosh, a lot going on.
No, it's not with the Chargers. Their trade was not with the Chargers. Their trade was with, who was their trade with? The Packers.
That's right. They did.
Yeah, the Packers. So they got the Packers' fourth round pick, right?
Let me see trades. Wow.
I think it was Packers' fourth.
Dolphins,
Anyways,
okay.
I think the Dolphins. So they got a fourth. I could see them packaging that, and maybe moving up to like 30. Maybe the Lions want to pick because they might want to make sure they get their running back. I could see the Dolphins being like, hey, we want DeAndre Swift. Let's just say hypothetically. And we're worried that he won't be there because, like, the Lions will draft him. So they get up in front of the Lions. That could be an option. Other than them, anyone that's trying to maybe get some more capital. I'm obviously kind of a Charger fan now. LA, baby. So could they maybe try to move back up into the second round? Because they could use some help. They could use a running back, and they also could use possibly another offensive lineman. Now they moved up to get Kenneth Murray, and I think they got ruled. They traded their second round pick away. So I wonder if they try to move back up in because they have a third round. I wonder if they might try to move in the back end to maybe steal a guy like Cam Akers, maybe a guy like Zach Moss, possibly if they want an offensive lineman they like a Lucas Niang or a Matt Pert. I could, they're a team to maybe watch for. Any team that's maybe trying, and the Packers are a team, I wonder, they went up for Love. They got rid of their fourth. Could they send their third round and maybe like a fifth to try to get up twice in the second round so then they can maybe grab a wide receiver and a tight end, maybe grab a Cole Kmet or a Troutman, the guy from Dayton, maybe grab KJ Hamler, Chase Claypool, and they get two weapons. But then if they do that, then they they also could use an extra lineman, and that they still won't be able. That's why they don't get the pick. They need an offensive lineman and an inside linebacker, but now they're basically I think they kind of have to get two weapons in the second and third round. So they have to probably go two wide receivers or tight end and wide receiver, and then they still have a hole at needing an extra lineman and needing an inside linebacker. So I don't know. I don't know. That's why I'm just not a fan of the Love pick. I just wasn't.
One team that got really lucky was the Dallas Cowboys getting CD Lamb. What were your thoughts about that?
That's a good. I mean, I couldn't believe Lamb was still there. Yeah, I mean.
And you're right. Royce went first. You kind of were talking about it like the past few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I did, but I didn't predict it. Well, did I predict it? Who did I?
You had one mock that had him first, and then you switched him back to second.
Sure, I for sure had him. And no, that's right. The last mock I had Lamb going 9th to Jacksonville,
and they got Henderson instead. C.J. Henderson, cornerback.
Sometimes rumors you got to block out, but sometimes you got to take them with credence. I had seen a little too many places. I'm talking about 2, 3, 4 places from a couple different people that are very verifiable, that are usually substantive in the reporting, that teams were really liking C.J. Henderson in the top 10. That some teams liked C.J. Henderson better than Jeffrey Okudah, and I was like, oh, but no, I don't know, I don't think so, and I never could mock C.J. Henderson in the top 10, and now I remember right the day before or whenever my last mock was, I'm like, should I go Jacksonville with C.J. Henderson? But would they really do that? And guess what? They did. So sometimes when you hear something, like, maybe you just need to rock with it.
So after this whole past couple weeks, what would you do different next year? Will you listen to rumors? Like, what are you going to do next year differently? For these mock drafts?
I don't know.
Hard.
It's not a perfect science. The few things that I think were pretty accurate. I do think Miami, the Tua, they were thinking about taking Herbert. And even Chris Greer seemed to insinuate as much. They wanted Joe Burrow, but they couldn't get Joe Burrow. So it was between Tua and Herbert. And I think it was really pretty even. I think it really was split. It sounded like that was pretty accurate reporting.
So you think Miami was trying to trade up for that first pick? You believe in that?
I do. No, Chris Greer said it himself when he got his media interviews. He said it. He said, yeah, we attempted to go up. So, no, they tried to get up and get Burrow. And so then at that point it was split. But I really think it was the people wanted Tua Tagovailoa. People, the fans,
yes,
that's who they wanted.
I saw
it. At the end of the day, the fans.
They were talking about it, Instagramming it. I mean, it was Tua. Either they were not knowledgeable with Herbert, or they weren't sure about his durability because we are in like the whole inside. But fans were sticking with Tua.
Well, and there's a certain sect of the media that really does not like Herbert.
Why?
Okay, so I'm fair, and I heard of one of the most fair takes by one of my more favorite commentators, Kirk Herbst. And
nice guy.
How you describe Herbert is he has everything physically. He even has everything from a character, from an intelligence standpoint that you want in a quarterback. But when you watch him play, there is some very disconcerting inconsistencies in his game. There is at times where he just seems as if I can't tell if it's mental. You really cannot tell what is going on that makes him at times he'll throw like 6 incompletions in a row. The Arizona State, he back-to-back interceptions and back-to-back drives. Auburn, he pretty much did nothing in the second half, and even the Hail Mary at the end, he just chucks right through the end zone. There's little things like that you're like,
that doesn't seem like a guy with that ability should be playing at such a marginal level. Now, if he was a normal quarterback, I don't think it'd be scrutinized so much. But it's the fact that he is so much from a character perspective that you expect him to do great things, that when he doesn't do those great things, it becomes disconcerting. Well, some of the media were crazy hyperbolic with it, where basically he just doesn't have it. And
it was diabolic, yeah.
Well, even PFF, there's a guy that says, I don't think he's a good quarterback. That's dumb. I mean, no, he has inconsistencies. He still has made a lot of good plays. Now, he took them on 3 game-winning drives his senior year. I mean, so like to say he's not a good quarterback, that's stupid.
Now,
he just has some inconsistency.
There's one reporter, Jeff Darlington from ESPN, and he kind of, I kind of was sharing his sentimental that the Dolphins were looking for someone with the alpha male attitude like Tua, and Herbert didn't have that alpha male. You disagree with that, don't you?
I just don't like that. I just think no, it's not as much that. I just don't. Yeah, I do kind of disagree because I don't think that's necessarily true. But actually, I think that Herbert in his own way is very strong, and I think he's actually a good leader and kind of a quiet, very
introvert.
No, the word I'd more use is in a very he's quiet, but he's also very subtle. He has a subtle kind of leadership, but he also, I've heard some stories that he's very stern in his own way, and he'll tell his teammates off, and he'll say, "Hey, we need to do this." He's just subtle and more quiet about it. And I don't like where people alpha and beta and whatever those comments. Those are ad hominem attacks. It's kind of juvenile-ish. I don't
know if he described it what Dolphins were saying, or was it his opinion. I'm not sure, so I can't really.
He acted like it was really. Do you want my opinion? I think it came down to, okay, Tua was very productive. Tua does have amazing game tape. That is very consistent, very productive, very good game tape. That is going into his favor. Also, the fact that the fans and the media noise was saying, hey, you did not take Drew Brees. You failed him medically, and look what he has become.
Which Nick Saban was talking about that yesterday. He regretted not getting Drew.
And at the end of the day, Tua has similarities to Drew Brees. At the end of the day, Tua was productive. He did win a lot of games. He won a national title. He came up big as a freshman. He was a good player in the toughest conference in America. That, there's a lot of arguments for Tua, and the durability was probably not something I think it was better to take a chance. I do think it is taking a chance. And I'm not totally sure that San Diego would have taken Tua.
Yeah, were kind of mentioning something about that these past couple of weeks. Yeah,
because Miami would have taken, obviously, I felt pretty good, like 80 to 90%, that if Miami passed on Herbert, that San Diego was going to take him. From what I'm hearing and from putting 1+1 together, I'm like, I believe that they are going to take Herbert if Miami passes him. I'm not as firm, and I'm not still today, even by hearing Tom Telesco talk. I actually don't think I think they would have taken Isaiah Simmons, and they would have passed on Tua, because I think the durability, just not knowing, I think they're just more of a safe organization, wanting a player that they just feel like it's a safety valve. I don't think it would have been enough of a safety valve. I think they would have passed on Tua, and then I think Tua would have actually maybe taken the tumble down to who knows where. Packers might have taken him. I don't know, but
or the Patriots.
Maybe. But in the end, Miami takes Tua, and then San Diego takes Herbert, and you got 6 quarterbacks. Sorry, 6. You have 3 quarterbacks going in the top 6 picks.
Man, when I got up this morning, when I was driving, it's like, wow, it's morning again in Miami. It had that feeling. It feels like
really
it's going to take probably take some time.
You think he's a savior for your franchise?
I don't know yet, but it is a sign of relief now.
I thought you wanted Herbert though. Right?
Yes, I did, but then yesterday before the draft, few hours, I kind of was feeling more confident with Tua. People were saying good stuff about him. I was hearing rumors from Miami that they wanted him, and I was like, let's take a chance with him. I think he'll be able to stay not injury free, but somehow, I don't know. It's hard to say right now, but hopefully he'll be able to learn not to take a tackle, slide at a certain play. I hope he does, but
you guys need to get some better. I mean,
oh yeah, I know that.
Austin Jackson's not a bad start, but I'm telling you, as a guy that watched USC play a lot, a Pac-12 guy, he's definitely more upside than he is actually as a finished product. So I just don't know how good he's going to be at first. And Miami's offensive line is not very good. So, and you don't have any run game. And so you're going to have to, I think, draft a decent running back. And so I don't know.
We'll see what happens tonight.
And even their weapons. I think Miami could use a weapon or two. So
yeah, it's not going to be. It's going to take some time. It's not going to be this year. We're not going to win the Super Bowl.
I was surprised. But you have two pretty good corners. You actually have a pretty good defense. You not a bad defense last year. You addressed defensive needs in free agency. I was surprised with the Noah Igabagane pick. I just felt as if they should draft a receiver, a running back, or an offensive lineman there.
Is there something they're seeing that we're not seeing?
I just don't. Okay, you have a couple good corners. Igabagane could probably play the nickel, but I don't know why a defensive player. I don't. Yeah, I don't get that pick.
We don't know.
So tonight, since you were able to get another draft pick because you drafted back, I would maybe trade up to 35, draft the running back you want, and then with your second pick, take an interior offensive lineman. Take a Tyler Biadasz from Wisconsin. Take
Swift if he's available.
No, I said trade up to get like a Swift, or trade up to get like a Jonathan Taylor, and then with your second round pick, I would maybe draft a Tyler Biadasz from Wisconsin, maybe a Lloyd Cushenberry from LSU, maybe a Nick Harris from Washington. I just think you need better offensive line or a weapon. Maybe you grab with your second pick a guy like KJ Hamler or Chase Claypool. I just think you could use another receiver. I think you could use another good lineman, and I think you could use a good running back. So you have three picks. So.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. You can watch the NFL draft tonight at 8 p.m. ESPN, NFL Network, and ABC. Pretty well, good productions. No technical difficulties. Thank God. And of course, we heard Peyton Manning at the beginning of the intro, so it was kind of emotional, but very good.
Yep.
Anyways, Tyler, what is the best way to reach you to talk about the NFL draft second round tonight?
Yeah, follow us on the Sportscast. I'll be posting mostly on there. I do post on my personal Twitter at TurnerCast a lot. So yeah, be keeping an eye out. Second and third round.
The third round starts tonight too, like after the second round, or okay. So we all night. Yep. Well, so, not all of it, but.
No, just second and third round tonight, and the 4th through 7th. But the second and third round, you get guys that you believe are going to be starters for your team.
Yeah.
So I'd definitely say day one is the pinnacle. That's the first round. That's the headliners. And then the second round and third round is where you get guys that are future starters, guys that turn into really, really good players. So, and then the 4th and 7th, yeah, you can all obviously get Tom Brady. But on average, the 4th and 7th round definitely are more of those filler type guys on the roster.
And there you have it. You can follow us on the Twitter account at TheSportsCast1, or go to the website at thesportscast.net. The future of the NFL is on the line tonight and this weekend. Anyways, Ty Turner, always a pleasure. I'll see you later.
I did.